It could be months before the government reveals whether Atmos Energy is to blame for those house explosions last year in South Jackson. But what investigators have revealed looks troubling to one industry expert. Here's part 2 of Gaslit. These new documents reveal at the Bristol Boulevard location, an Atmos contractor completed a leak survey on November 17, 2023, 2 months before that deadly explosion, and found a leak near the gas main determined to be grade 2, considered non-hazardous but needing repair based on a possible future hazard. 3 days later, homeowner Johnny Barber called Atmos because he smelled gas outside the home. An Atmos technician came out and saw where the previous leak survey had been and dug around previous hotspots to see if the gas migrated. The technician chose not to upgrade the leak to, say, grade 1, which requires immediate repair, because he said the gas had not gone any farther. The NTSB requested the diagram of that technician's second visit, which would have documented what he found, but the Atmos employee never created one.
How you can dismiss one of your customers or just a community member who is smelling gas and not further investigating because someone did a couple days ago, that's really troubling.
What's perhaps more troubling is that Johnny Barber told federal investigators the smell of gas didn't go away. We continued to smell the gas. In December as well? Yeah. All the way up to the accident? Yeah. And they did nothing about it until my wife was killed. Atmos tells WLBT the leaks on Bristol and Shalimar Drive were not near any structures nor migrating toward them at that time, which is why they weren't immediately repaired. On Shalimar Drive, Alexis Lowe told us she called Atmos repeatedly in the weeks leading up to that explosion.
I called maybe 4 or 5 times, and they came out twice. The first time, he did not check anything. He didn't have any equipment. He just walked around the front yard. He just decided, I don't smell anything. So I said, well, come here, because I smelled it right in the yard. I said, right here. And he's like, I don't smell anything.
Alexis says the last time she called them was days before the explosion. None of that is documented in records the company sent the federal government. Records from Atmos do show the service lines at both locations are more than 50 years old, but the company doesn't even have records of when those lines were installed.
Is it unusual that they didn't even have installation records for these 2 locations?
Yeah, that was another thing that jumped out at me was just the lack of records on the service lines.
And it's not just Jackson. 3 on Your Side found more than 72% of Atmos's gas lines across Mississippi have no installation records whatsoever, according to reports from the federal government.
And not knowing your system, there's no way to have an effective integrity management system without knowing your system.
Karam says new regulations that have been discussed within the last decade could make a difference, requiring different equipment to be used in wet soil conditions, for example, and requiring companies like Atmos to be more aggressive in repairing even leaks it thinks aren't hazardous. But that can't come from the NTSB because it's not a regulator.
What I would hope to see is that the regulator, it's the Utility Commission in Mississippi, will recognize that this is a repeat offender, even if not within the same state.
We showed Alexis and her husband perhaps the most revealing part of the explosion that rocked their home, the location of the leak. It was closer to their house than the home across the street, still in shambles.
Wow.
What goes through your mind?
That could have been us. God knows with, everything that was in the trees, we could have been just vanished and gone.
We're more than a year after it happened. Should we already have some answers by now?
Definitely. My level of patience is negative 25, because we haven't heard anything. No one has reached out, and it looks like they don't care. It's like we're never going to get any type of resolution. Yeah. Like we're not going to get any information.
Well, we did get some information from Atmos Energy, a 5-page brochure, but the company didn't answer specific questions we had from tonight's investigation, even though its spokesperson assured us it would. The company did say they had fixed all leaks in South Jackson by the end of last year, and they're now requiring grade 2 and 3 leaks to be repaired within 6 months, far better than any state or federal standard. Of course, you can see the company's statement on our website, WLBT.com.
Thank you for continuing to ask those important questions.
Great report.